Hello everybody, my name is Jared, and in today's video we are going to create another Boku no Hero fan art piece. Today's piece is based on the ship CHRONOHAUL. This ship is the ship of Chrono and Kai, aka Overhaul, from series 4. This is the Shihisaki arc. It's a really interesting arc. It's probably my favourite. If I can recommend, if you just don't want to watch any of the rest of Boku no Hero, just watch that one because it's amazing and the villains are just terrifying. This ship is another great ship from that series and I really enjoy it, so I'll kind of explain why I like that ship. Now, Kai is a character that you all know if you watch any of my content is one of my favourites. I just find him very interesting and he's a very compelling villain. I like his dynamic of being a very modern character but also very steeped in his heritage and coming from the Yakuza. He's a very interesting character too. As to why I like the dynamic of the ship, their relationship is quite ambiguous in the show. Though Chrono is one of the Shihisaki, so you know that he's in the group that is very close to Kai. All of them are willing to die for him at any moment. Chrono also implies that they have been together for a long time. He talks about Kai being younger and it's kind of implied that they're quite close. That implication comes from his role as like Kai's right-hand man. He's the person that Kai is seen talking to the most of all of the Shihisaki. And he does also have the reoccurring kind of task of being Eri's caretaker, since Kai clearly isn't interested in her outside of her use in his greater goal. All of these things kind of leave you with the implication that he is closer to Chrono than he is to the rest of the Shihisaki. Now, a lot of people might not know which character I'm actually talking about here. Chrono is the character that's shown in the all-white outfit with the beak mask. He's shown with Kai 90% of the time, and he's usually shown carrying Eri. We're going into spoiler town pretty hard in this video, as you can tell. Chrono's face reveal comes in very late in the anime, so you don't see it until quite late in the show. A lot of people were quite confused when he first got revealed in the manga because he's quite androgynous looking. A lot of people thought he was a woman. Apparently this is the same thing with Getan, who's been introduced in the manga. Getan is Ice Climber, and yeah, that character gets mistaken, I think, for being a woman quite a lot, because I think that, if I'm not incorrect, Hirokoshi has canonized that Getan is a man. Just very androgynous. It was the same thing with Chrono when he was first revealed. A lot of people thought that this was a female character, but no, he is a male character, and I think the anime made it a lot more obvious that he was male. He's a lot less androgynous looking in the anime. But he also has a time-related quirk. It is based on his hair having arrow shapes, and he can stab you with those arrows and affect the time in the person's body. So how quickly they move, basically. He can slow them down. So I really enjoyed both of those characters and I really enjoyed their dynamic, so I actually shipped that quite quickly. And again, I'm going to say this here because I say this every time I talk about shipping. Just because I ship something doesn't mean I don't ship other things involving those characters, and also doesn't mean that I think that there's anything wrong with any ships you have. Your ships are your own business. I'm not really a very judgy person, so again, like I said last time, talk about ships in the downstairs below on the comments. And now I'll talk a little bit about the artwork that I'm working on here. This piece it has some like minor symbolism stuff and stuff like that. I started out with a base sort of sketch. I knew I wanted Kai to be higher up because that's kind of how I figure Chrono views their relationship. I also wanted to have Kai's hands in frame because obviously they're the big part of his quirk. So I like to have, if I'm drawing artwork and featuring Kai, I like to have his hands really visible. He's kind of like looking down at Chrono and has his hands like resting near him. And then you've got Chrono underneath and he's kind of like tilting his head up. And you've got these string, which is based on the red string of fate. I don't want to go into explaining that because it's quite complicated to actually explain it correctly, so I would just Google it if you're not 100% what that is, but it is related to fate and usually also related to romantic relationships, though it doesn't have to be, I don't think. But this string is like wrapped around his throat, so it's meant to be a bit more sinister. Kind of meant to be more about the like control in the relationship between the two of them. And yeah, so those strings go up and they are wrapped around Kai's hands and fingers, and yeah, that explains that little bit of symbolism. Otherwise, this was actually quite difficult because I do actually struggle drawing Chrono. He has a really interesting face that I don't think I captured very well here. I was going from the manga entirely. They hadn't featured yet in the anime completely, as in they hadn't shown Chrono's face when I first started this piece. So yeah, I didn't have the best references for drawing Chrono at this point, but I did work from the manga pretty much entirely, and I think it's better than some of the sketches I did to try and like get hold of what he was supposed to look like, but I still need to work on trying to get him to look exactly how I want him to. I do still kind of go from the manga version when I'm drawing him anyway now, because controversial opinion, I don't really like how either of them were drawn in the anime. I know that the Kai thing is not a controversial opinion, a lot of people really didn't like how he was drawn in the anime, but I don't really like how Chrono was drawn either. Again, he kind of lost the like androgyny thing a little bit, and I don't know, his face was really like broad looking, which it wasn't in the manga. And again, it's not that I dislike that kind of face, it's just that I didn't like how it looked when they actually did it on Chrono. So I mainly still go for the manga for both of them, really. Again, you can tell that I'm going for the manga again because Chrono's canon colours weren't released yet, and now they have been, and he isn't using the same colour scheme. The most noticeable thing is the hair. His hair is grey in the anime, whereas it's white in my artwork. Again, I probably prefer the white hair, but you know, that's what they went with, so I'm not going to complain. Bones have done an amazing job with 90% of the animation. I just didn't really like their character models. Other choices that I made in this art piece, I would probably have changed Kai's eyes straight away if I was going to redraw it again. And I do play around with a little bit of colouring the line work, which I didn't like the look of. So I just lightened the line work just a little bit. It's kind of like a really dark brown instead of a black, which I think ended up looking better. I think if I redrew this now, I could probably do it better, and I might redraw it at some point. But this is what I've got at the moment. This was drawn about, I want to say, a month, maybe 2 months ago. And as I've said, I am still, as of recording this, it is the end of April when I'm recording this, and I'm still under quarantine. So I am just maxing out on content for you guys. I'm just making lots and lots of videos, so there's plenty of stuff for you guys to watch while you are also stuck in quarantine, or if you're free from quarantine by that point, to catch up on. As I said, there are some things I would change about it, but I do like this piece quite a lot. I really like the neck area and the hands, and I think those came out really well. And I do like the hair on Chrono. Chrono's hair looks really, really cool here. And as I said last time, please do comment below any other ships that you really like, or a fun one for this one would be comment down below who your favourite Boku no Hero villain is, because I love hearing people's different favourite villains. Some people have really obscure ones, like there's been some people who are like their favourite villain only appears in like Vigilantes and stuff like that, so yeah, comment below what your favourite villain is, and if you want to, you can also drop below what your favourite villainous ship is, if you have any villainous ships. Do you have any ships of involving villain characters, or only involving villains? So yeah, this is my final piece for my CHRONOHAUL piece. I do hope you guys like it. Thank you very, very much, and as always, please remember to be creepy.